Warning, this podcast was intended for mature audiences. The intention of the podcast is to be relatively lighthearted, so please do not take anything too seriously. Hope you enjoy it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Slightly Improper Podcast. Now, you would have noticed that we didn't have an episode last week. As most of our followers would have known, we aim to upload every week, but sadly, a few events that happened last week, we were incapable to record a video, but we're back again this week, better than ever, and we have a guest. So yeah, I hope you guys stick around for this episode, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Slightly Improper Podcast. We've again got me, Connor, and Raph, and today we're joined by Totusager AKA Riley.
Special guest number 2.
I was about to say, isn't it usually Riley aka Totusager?
Probably, but that's alright. So Totusager is he's my older brother. He streams on Twitch quite a lot. And he's starting to get a bit of a following, isn't that right, Raph?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan. I know I kind of started watching his stream at the start of this year, and I was like, oh, I always forget that Connor's brother streams, and dude, I love your stream, man, and we were so happy to have you on. I think we were looking for someone who's like, I don't know, not similar to us, but like has similar interests and would be interested in, I don't know, having a chat, having a conversation about, I don't know, life and things that are happening. So thank you for coming on, dude. I appreciate it.
No, dude, no problem. Thank you for inviting me. It's definitely something I've wanted to be a part of, like a podcast, myself. But for a long time, I've wanted to be like a part of something like that. And obviously, like streaming was kind of like, you know, that first step into content creation for me. And yeah, like this year has been pretty freaking good for myself, at least for streaming. It's been kind of like one up from the other. I just keep growing. It's crazy, actually.
No, I think you've built a really good community, I think, and it's very, very welcoming for new people who are coming in, but also kind of tight for the people who are in there. So I think you've done a really fantastic job, and you've created something really special that you should be really proud of.
Well, thank you.
Should we
Absolutely, yeah.
Should we jump into our first section that we always do, which is kind of just like our movies of the week?
Yeah.
Like we talk about movies of the week. Do you want to start, Connor, or do you want me to start? I always know.
I reckon you're probably best to start this week. I think
All
I
right.
started last week, so I think it's your turn.
So, I'm usually not a big movie watcher. Usually Connor takes the reins on this one, but I have been doing this thing with my mum where we like watch something that we haven't seen every week, just to like, you know, broaden the horizons. Yeah. And actually, it's an odd thing to like kind of say that you'll watch with your mum, but I was actually watching John Wick with my mum the other day. If you've seen John Wick, or if anyone out there's seen John Wick, it's got Keanu Reeves. He's like basically like a bounty hunter dude, and he like, you know, he's a killing machine. But she actually really liked it. She's not a big fan of like, you know, guns and, you know, violence and shit, but she actually really liked it, and I thought it was funny and interesting. If you haven't seen John Wick, I think it's pretty big, and I think most people would have some idea at least of what it is, but if you haven't seen it to this point, I recommend it 100%. Watch it. It's
absolutely.
Even if you're not,
I will
like,
jump on that. Oh, you go.
No. I was saying even if you're not into action movies, I think you'd still like it.
Yeah, for sure. I will jump on that as well and say, even my mum, again, yeah, she's not a huge fan of action movies or, you know, them shoot 'em up movies, but she, again, really does enjoy the John Wick series.
No, they're quite good. Another one I actually saw this week as well, which is personally not my type of film. I think I was just bored and I was like, fuck, okay, I'll just watch something. I saw Grown Ups, and I know it's been around for a long time, and it's like considered a lot amongst many people like a classic comedy family kind of film, but I've never seen it, and actually it wasn't too bad, even though I'm not usually into that kind of genre.
I remember watching that when I was quite young, and yeah, again, I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Watched it more than a few times.
More than a few times, over the years.
Pretty sure they had that on the DVD, so or Blu-ray at that time. It might have been Blu-ray at that time.
What actually happened to Blu-ray? Is that still like a thing? Is that just like the norm now? Or?
I think it's just just the norm now, because most DVD players, quote unquote, are just Blu-ray readers as well. Like obviously with like the introduction of probably like I'd say at the PlayStation 3 stage where they were running Blu-ray discs for their games, every console after that's kind of been Blu-ray. I actually don't know about Microsoft and Xbox in that regard. I've never owned an Xbox, and don't know if I ever will unless I'm thoroughly rich.
So is that like because I remember back in the day as a kid it was like, oh, a normal disc, and then it was like, whoa, Blu-ray, and it had like, you know, the special case with the blue at the top, and like,
Yeah.
is that
yeah,
like
yeah,
is
yeah.
that gimmick kind of gone, or is it's just the norm now? I'm assuming, yeah. Maybe.
I won't lie to you, I have
Yeah,
not
I
bought
don't
a
know.
physical copy of a movie in
No.
probably like 3-4 years.
Yeah, I guess with the influx of streaming services, you know, Netflix, Binge, Prime Video, etc., there's not much of a need for them really.
Yeah, true. Unless
Yeah,
like,
that's another thing. Like I don't remember the last time I've I don't remember the last time I've used a DVD player to
Yeah.
watch a movie. It's always been like,
Exactly.
you know, a streaming service, or it's been from others like, you know, going out to the cinema or something.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy. I still have all my old discs like stashed up somewhere, like in my like garage, I think. But like, dude, surely they're gonna be worth something in the future. They won't exist
Doubt.
anymore.
You never know.
I don't know about that, man. I feel like it'd be more like the floppy disk, and the disc
true.
disc will be redundant in the future because there's a better way to
Yeah, true.
put data or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yo, Connor, you
I
said,
guess we'll jump over to Toto actually next. Have you watched any movies or TV series or anything this week or recently?
I actually haven't. It's been a kind of a hell of a few weeks for me in terms of, you know, coming out of lockdown. You know, I've been going out and meeting up with some friends and stuff. So I really, and obviously work on top of that, work and streaming. It's haven't really been on top of watching new content, not new movies, new TV series. I do have one thing to say on Netflix though, The Queen's Gambit. I actually caught a couple episodes of that. I haven't finished it through. That's a really good show. If you like, I guess in my regard, it's like, you know, if you don't think chess is a sport, you watch this and you're like, yo, chess is definitely a sport.
my sister
man.
recommended it actually.
Yeah,
yesterday
it's
to me.
actually
Yeah, I recommend it as well.
it's really it's definitely an interesting show. I am enjoying it so far. I don't know when I'll get through it, but it'll be like overtime thing. I'm really slow with TV shows, unfortunately.
That's pretty
Not
cool.
that
though.
much of a I'm not that much of a binge watcher. I play more video games than I watch stuff, unfortunately.
That's fair, dude. I mean,
That's fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, I know I have friends, like, I personally don't watch, like, most weeks it's Connor saying the films and I'm kind of chipping in as well, like, oh, I've seen that, or, like, I usually don't watch films much, or, despite being a film student, but yeah, I know we have friends that, like, binge, like quite a lot of shows, or some people that don't watch at all, so I guess it's just, you know, each to your own, you know?
Yeah.
different
Well,
stuff.
like, that's another thing. Like, I used to watch a lot of movies. Like, I was always watching movies. I was always looking for new movies to watch. Like, I mean, last year especially, I was downloading movies that were like unheard of. Like,
Oh, really?
not even unheard of, just like movies that I probably wouldn't watch usually. Like, or like not movies that I'd grown up watching. One good film, I think it was called Mid-90s. It was directed by what's his name? Dude, I can't remember his name now. Hold a sec.
We'll search him up, dude.
Jonah Hill. So Jonah Hill.
Oh, yeah,
Jonah
yeah,
Hill.
yeah.
Yes, I knew. Like, I was gonna say what movies he's in, but it's like, no, don't worry. Really interesting film that he directed. It was actually really well made. I enjoyed it. Probably not for everyone. It's a drama comedy, I'd say. Probably not for everyone, but yeah, if you get the time, watch that. And another one, I don't know anyone I've spoken to that's heard of this. It's called Gregoire. That got some good reviews out there. I think it's called Gregoire. Hold a second. It's got some really good reviews out there. It's another drama show, which I actually don't usually watch. I am usually more into sci-fi and action movies. But it got good reviews out there, and personally, I thought it was okay. It was, you know, one of those mixed reviews. I feel, or mixed feelings from me at least.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, that sounds interesting. They sound like not like dead center kind of TV shows that you'd see like on the front page of Netflix, and those are always really interesting. And sometimes there's a lot of hidden gems kind of down the road of not, you know,
100%.
being straight mainstream, which is cool, dude. Connor kind of skipped over it, but from what he's seen this week, and I see it as I'm a proud father. That he's seen it finally. He saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off for the first time.
Yeah, I saw that for the first time this week.
For the first time,
Yeah.
okay.
I haven't watched it before. Yeah.
Have
To
you
be fair, yeah, I went out of my way to watch that one.
Oh, you did,
I never
yeah.
watched it. I never watched it when I was younger. I watched that in high school. But yeah, like that was not something I grew up with. I didn't grow up with that movie.
That's fair. No, I don't know. Personally, I grew up with it, and it's like one of those films where it's like, oh, as if you didn't watch it, when in reality, it's just like, oh, it's just because, you watch it doesn't mean everyone else has seen it. But,
Yeah. Exactly.
it's a classic film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never enjoyed it. I mean, I never had watched it, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't definitely wasn't it wasn't. I didn't find it to be anything special.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah.
it was
Is that
pretty good?
How
is
good's
it
Cameron,
considered?
though?
Is it considered a
Sure.
cult classic? That one?
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
so.
because
Because
I
it's a
was just
one-off
thinking that
movie,
like there's a few different cult classics out there that like you just assume everyone's seen.
Yeah.
Like Fight Club.
Yeah, true.
I haven't watched that one either.
No, neither.
Fight Club, you gotta. I mean, like,
Come
gotta-
on.
Probably.
Pulp Fiction as well. Two like, big ones out there, and one of my best friends had never seen them before last year, and that blew my mind. I'm like, yeah, sure. I went out of my way again to watch that one myself, but like, how have you never seen this before?
Yeah, for sure.
It just it boggles my mind.
No, it's crazy though how people have like different, almost like the way they, what they were, exposed to as young. It's like, oh, as if you've never seen this, but it's, it is what it is with different people seeing different stuff. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool though.
absolutely.
I like it. It's a good way to like kind of share, I don't know, certain things with certain people, like to mingle and to, stuff like that. I think.
Well, another thing I guess is like the way they grow up, like, is in if they're not around TV or movies, like their parents don't watch movies. They're probably not going to be interested in it too much. Like they might be more interested towards like a documentary side.
Yeah, for sure.
Like although I think growing up I had a good mix between movies, documentaries. Didn't really watch too many TV shows. I don't think, at least like a lot of the TV shows I think at least were pretty crap unless they were like cartoons. But that was me when I was like younger.
Pretty good.
I mean, like, yeah,
No,
I guess for me it was like more. I didn't enjoy a lot of the acting in TV series because I guess maybe the production value was a lot lower. There was only very few TV series that really like drew me in.
For sure.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't know, like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
It's
a
an
banger.
animated TV series and it's like considered to be one of the greatest TV series in my opinion, especially with the generation I live in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I just don't get that same feeling towards like I don't know, not a live action version, but a live action TV series. Like, I can't even think of one off the top of my head because I just don't watch that many.
No, I think you're right though. I think, especially as a kid, stuff like the Avatar and all that, like, they were probably like considered just at the time, oh, it's just a kid's show, it can't be that good. But like Avatar is culturally monumental. Like, it's had such a big impact on people all around the world. And like today, I hear people talking about that show, and like that's a perfect example of
It's still huge.
It's still got like tons of memes around it and all that, which I guess is more publicity for more people to watch it then as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's
and like new theories are coming out every week. Like it's not like it's not uncommon for me to go on Twitter or something and see some new post about I don't know, the mindset of one of the individuals in the TV show, like how, I don't know, very hard to explain, I guess, if you're not really into that, but it's just, it's crazy. People like start thinking of these new things that keep popping up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's awesome. It's
and I think like a main factor in the resurgence of that TV show was Netflix, it coming back on Netflix, because I don't think like it's a Nickelodeon TV show. Nickelodeon is with like Foxtel and all that. Not many people are really buying into the Foxtel nowadays. At least I feel, especially in my generation. So a lot of people are just opting into only streaming services. So they only really see what's on the streaming service. So I feel like if that show didn't come into a streaming service like Netflix or any other streaming service out there, Stan, Hulu, all that, it probably wouldn't have had the same resurgence
I agree.
that it did.
Gives it exposure to a new level. Yeah.
I still think it would have been considered like one of the greatest TV shows for our generation, and like in terms of shaping who we are today. But I don't think it would have had the same resurgence.
No, I agree.
I keep saying resurgence, but I just can't think of another word.
I agree entirely. I think it's given it a platform to reach a whole new level in terms of like years later, as things do, kind of like Minecraft has with Twitch.
Yeah,
and how
absolutely.
People are speed running the game now because big streamers are, that's another one of those games. I think me and Connor mentioned it before on the podcast. It's had a resurgence, and people like, oh, we loved it since day one, but people did love it. But then there was the Fortnite phase where it was like, oh, Minecraft is cringe, but like now look at it, it's flourishing.
I'll never forgive. In high school, I'll never forgive the kids that used to give us shit for playing like games like Minecraft and Terraria. They were like some of the best games out there at the time.
No, true.
And we used to get shit on for playing that because we didn't play like. Oh, I did play it, but we enjoyed it more than we play like Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And because we weren't playing the more violent game, it was like, yeah, you're a fucking nerd. You play it. Am I allowed to swear?
No, you are allowed to swear.
Yeah.
I just said it. They're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't.
No, you're a good dude.
But anyway. Yeah, and like I'll just never forgive them for that. That's like I didn't play a lot of Minecraft back in high school. I played a little bit more Terraria, but I didn't play a lot of Minecraft. And like I got into it like last year, and I'm like, there's so much about this game that I don't know, and there's so much work gone into that game and Terraria. It's like mind-boggling or mind-blowing, really, for me. It's like I've missed out on so much because of I guess views pushed onto me by other kids in high school.
The expectations and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. Looking back on it, it's like that's a bullshit dog.
Yeah, that is
I
bullshit.
feel through my like year 5 primary sort of schools, when we got our iPads, everybody, there wasn't a single person that that didn't play either Minecraft or Minecraft Terraria or Nova 3.
No, nobody.
Nova
3 was a bot.
Holy shit.
That's
Nova 3,
that's a
man.
throwback. Yeah, everybody was playing that. You'd sit in the corridors during your lunch and everything, and be playing that through mainly through year 6, but still, and then even through high school, like it lessened off. But I guess people would then, when FIFA 15 came out on the iPads and iOS, everybody was playing that. I know in our year level especially.
Yeah, it was so popular. I didn't even like FIFA and soccer, but I remember in year 9 we used to have like that massive soccer phase. But I remember
so competitive.
I wasn't even like a soccer person, but I kind of like had to make myself be almost just to fit in because everyone was everyone was on FIFA. And you remember, Connor, I remember I bent my fucking iPad over my knee.
Yeah, because you got so
What?
That's classic me though. I get so angry
that was in
against
one of the
you.
later
Oh
ones.
my
That was in
God.
FIFA Mobile.
Yeah, that was it. Sorry, that was FIFA Mobile. Dude,
That wasn't
But I
even
remember-
FIFA Mobile wasn't even that good.
yeah,
FIFA
why
was
why did I become friends with you, dude? Why did I start liking FIFA? Because then I just get angry at packs, man. That's some bullshit, man.
I still get
I
like
sucked you into that.
You did.
I mean, I still get Sathro coming in the chat. It's like, when are you gonna play FIFA 21? I'm like, I haven't played FIFA since FIFA 19. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's only a couple years ago, but like, still,
That's
you
funny,
expect
yeah.
me to spend $80 on the exact same game that it's been since FIFA 15? pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's got like 3 more polygons on each character. Or like, that's it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and
Easy.
like, a slightly new feature or something. Like, oh yeah, one year they introduced price ranges for different cards and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that
that's
just
when it started
ruined
going
it.
downhill.
Yeah, that's when that's because people couldn't trade anymore. Like, they
Yeah.
couldn't like snipe things.
Yeah.
That was.
So I
that was
remember in
annoying.
FIFA 15 as well. You'd go on Twitter and you'd enter all the giveaways and all that. And
I deleted that account. I was like, I'm not having this research,
my
man.
account is so embarrassing.
Did you-
Man, I gained a solid like 800 followers or something during
I had a
that
good following
period.
as
Really?
well.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Hamish? One of our mates from high school used to talk to all these sketchy blokes on Twitter, and they would like ask him for like credit details and stuff, and he would give it to them, and he would get FIFA points in return. And I'm pretty sure there was something like having to cancel his like parents' credit card or some shit. Anyway, it was he would
What
just,
the fuck?
I don't know. He used to do some sketchy shit for FIFA points. Anyway, it was fun.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. Anyway,
That's weird.
since this is kind of like the the topic, Connor, I'm going to skip over what the first one is.
Skip that second one.
And I think we should talk about the release of the PS5 and the Xbox. Okay, we've had this conversation
Big
before.
stuff.
I was about to say
Stuff.
Xbox One. What is the name of the new Xbox? The naming
Xbox
conventions
Series
are bad.
Series X, yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you.
Xbox Series X.
Okay, do you agree or not agree with me, Todu? They're bad. The Xbox naming conventions past Xbox One are
look,
bad.
honestly,
I don't know what they are.
They missed out on naming one of them the 720. Like, they really did.
Well, I'm not an Xbox person, but like as someone who's part of the gaming sphere, like I don't even like. I needed you to tell me what the new Xbox was called because there's Xbox Project S or Xbox Scorpio, Xbox XS or there's a bunch of
Scorpio wasn't the Scorpio just like the Xbox One S?
Okay. See, but that's more to my point as well. Like I don't even know. Like the names seem very fluid for me. I don't know. I don't know the differences, but that's just me. Anyway. Big release.
Big stuff. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get my hands on one.
Nah, neither. Not at the moment.
Mainly because I'm broke, but also because they sold out very quickly.
Yeah.
I think it was like, I want to say on Amazon, they sold out in like 7 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And then local stores like JB Hi-Fi, Big W, all that were pretty much, they sold out really quickly as well.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is,
they were never
unfortunate.
actually in stores, were they? Here in Australia, at least. It was all.
No, I don't
online
think. Yeah,
orders.
I don't think any of them were put in store because of the influx of pre-orders. It's a weird term, pre-orders, but like basically, some people put down a $50 deposit so that they could get in early so that they could have a chance to pre-order it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, they're not going to get their consoles until January. Some of those people.
Wait,
And I'm like,
Jan?
what the? What the?
That's
What's the fucking point?
that's crazy.
I may
That's
as well
months.
just wait because by that point, I feel like they're going to produce more. Sony especially is not gonna guess back down here and just say that's as many consoles as we're gonna make. Like they're missing out on
marketing.
They're missing out on hundreds of thousands of sales if they did that.
Millions.
I feel like consoles have become to the point where now I don't know. It's not just gamers getting consoles. Like I know a lot of our friends, Connor, have been getting consoles. Like we'll go to console. Like people who don't usually game are gaming. Because it's like
it's like the same with PCs though.
It's like it's like playing okay, this sounds silly, and this is me trying to go into the mindset of someone maybe perhaps of boomer generation, like baby boomer gen. Being playing games is kind of like a sport. It's like when you grow up that your parents do you want to play a sport? It's like it's kind of like do you what console do you play on now? What do you play on PC? I feel like even if you're not a gamer, everyone plays games to an extent. Everyone's
whether it's mobile or
definitely a lot.
get a console.
Yeah, everyone's involved.
It's definitely become a lot more intrinsic in people's lives.
No, for sure.
But in saying that, I've also experienced the same thing with people that I wouldn't have thought would invest in say a PC have gone out and bought a custom PC. Josh, one of my old friends from high school, he came into my chat the other day. I don't even know how he found my stream because I don't know about you guys, but I don't actually plug my stream to my old socials. My old social. When I say my old socials, my
personal socials, yeah.
Personal socials, yeah. I don't know. I guess I got a weird thing about it because a lot of the people in high school, I don't know if they'll come in and just give me shit for no reason,
Yeah.
I just don't want that kind of vibe hanging about. If they're gonna discover my stream, I want them to be actively looking for it, not just go, let's get on here and troll this guy because we knew him in high school. That's just not what I want. I don't want to deal with that.
I guess that was similar with us as well. With even just the podcast here, we were sort of expecting some people to shit on it, but I guess the response that we got was actually quite supportive from quite a lot of people, and I actually got some messages of people that I haven't talked to since year 7 saying I liked it, and I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think we had the conversation about plugging. Sorry, Tony. I'll quickly say we had the conversation about plugging, and should we do it or not? But we thought may as well because the podcast is kind of centered around a chat with a friend, so we kind of were okay with people knowing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys just kind of took that leap where I wasn't willing to take it at the time, at least. Yeah. Maybe now I'd be more inclined to, especially after the response from Josh. Josh was a good friend of mine through the early years of high school. We kind of grew apart later on, but he had like, honestly, it was like definitely a response I did not expect when he came into chat and started talking with me. He's like, "Yo, this is actually really good shit. You know, keep it up and whatever. We should play sometime."
That's really good though. That's nice.
All
That's
that kind of, like, it's like, yeah, it's like I just didn't expect it from him, and I didn't expect some of the other people that had already known I was streaming to actually tell some of those guys that I was streaming. That's just like, as in, I always say, like, if someone's going, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna tell a bunch of people that, like, I'm gonna tell a bunch of people to come watch your stream," I'm like, "Look, man, I don't want you to go out of your way to go plugging the stream everywhere. Like, only tell people if you think they're going to enjoy watching." Like,
no, for sure.
I don't want people sitting here and going, "Wow, this guy is trash. This guy's boring," or some shit. Like, I want them to enjoy being here. I want them to want to be there.
Yeah, like, don't just be there out of, you know. Yeah, I get what you mean.
That's the good thing about your stream as well. It's quite a social stream.
Yeah.
It's not just, you know, it's gameplay, but you're also incorporating the social aspect by talking to your viewers and everything.
Well, I feel like that's a big thing with smaller streams because I'm not a pro player. I'm not a pro at pro level. Like, as in, I play games. I play them pretty well, I like to think. But I feel like as a small streamer, especially as a growing streamer, it's definitely more beneficial to focus on interactions rather than gameplay.
No,
which was a big issue I had in the first, like, when I started playing CS:GO again. I was all about gameplay. I was like, yeah, I got to practice. I got to get good because I want to, you know, produce good gameplay. That was, I feel like, a setback for me because I wasn't focusing as much on chat. Like, during a round, I'd hardly look at chat, and, you know, people would be saying stuff, and then I wouldn't read the lines right. Like, as in, I get lost in the text basically, and I'd skip over someone's message, and it's like, you know, I don't have many people in here. I shouldn't be skipping over people's messages, you know. Like, I can understand, like, bigger streamers that they, you know, chat's getting spammed. Like, some people are spamming emotes, some people are actually asking questions. It's really hard to kind of differentiate and read all that stuff. So it's kind of more common for them to miss things, but for me, it's like, you know, I shouldn't be missing those messages.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think you've really well measured and well balanced that approach. Like, I think the gameplay is always still enjoyable, and like, I'll always come by a stream or lurk, or whether I say nothing or if I say a lot. Like, for example, you're playing Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty. I wanted to see the new gameplay, and I was like, wow, Totu's playing it, I'm going to watch. But it was also good to just be there and to listen to the banter with you and Kanga. And, like, even if I'm just there, it's good.
Call of Duty brings out some level of toxicity with me. I just like shit talking out of this world.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you've fostered that really well. And you've got the right idea, the right approach, and a good mindset. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely
cool. It's really cool. One quick thought I had about the PS5 and the Xbox. Do you think the PS5 will be successful this generation, or will the Xbox? I mean, I think they'll both be successful, but similar to this generation, do you reckon PS4 will come out on top again? What are your thoughts?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Look, it's very hard to tell at this stage because obviously, you know, this is the launch. Not a lot of exclusives, have been announced. I feel like it's all kind of dependent on how Microsoft goes about acquiring new studios. Because obviously, I don't know if you guys know, but recently Microsoft acquired Bethesda and a couple other little studios. If they make those games Microsoft exclusives, so PC and Xbox, it's going to be big for Xbox, especially because there's people that refuse to get a PC for whatever reason, even though, like, as in, that's kind of like why I refuse to get an Xbox, because
you have a PC. Yeah.
I have a PC. Pretty much any Xbox game is going to be on PC.
Exactly.
You know, there's no point in me getting, like, as in, Xbox has always been only Halo for me. That's all I've, like, kind of been interested in, and I can get that on PC now. So anyway, in saying that, PlayStation, since in my eyes, PlayStation has always had the best exclusives. They kind of fell behind with the PlayStation 3 generation because they released late, but PlayStation 4 onwards, they've been, I guess,
better.
I can't think of the word, but like, they've just been on top of it. They've been really, they've been out of this world. I want the PS5 to go better. I guess you could call me a Sony fanboy. But frankly, I don't know. I feel almost consoles can be kind of redundant in their capabilities because they seem so far behind what a PC can. Like, sure, you're spending 4 or 5 times as much on the top of the line PC, but it's so far ahead. It almost seems like it's not worth buying a console.
Yeah.
That's why I've kind of been hesitant to buy it, because it's like I'm gonna play like 2 or 3 exclusives on there.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like $800 for one with a disc drive. Like,
Yeah.
I can't,
Nah.
like that's
That's a reasonable. I think it's a reasonable viewpoint. A lot. Like I'm 100% the same. I remember I used to be PS4 gamer. I got the PS4 on launch, when it came out back in 2012, 2013. I forgot what year it was. I think it was 2013. Anyway, I got it off launch, and I remember there being, I don't know. And this is the start of every generation, but there was only a few games, a few exclusives. I played those exclusives when games like Injustice 2 came out. I played them, but then I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm just gonna play these. Injustice 2 wasn't an exclusive, but anyway, I just played these. I just played these few games, and then it was like, I don't know what to do with my PS4, so I'm gonna get rid of it. But I do feel the same. If you have a PC, it feels kind of, and I know it's meant to be a dedicated console for people who don't want to spend money on a PC and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I do agree with you in terms of pushing technology to new limits. And that's the thing. I think it's interesting, and I think it's funny when people are talking about like ray tracing technology and like this whole PS5 is talking about SSDs and ray tracing and stuff, and that stuff has been around on PC for quite some time. I mean, it is what it is, and it's you're putting it to the main market, I guess, now. But yeah.
I mean, technically, ray tracing technology has been around far longer. They just didn't use it in like the graphic sense.
Yeah,
they used it for mechanical sense. Like one of the old, like Spider-Man 2, which was on the PlayStation 2. I want to say, I could be wrong there, but that used ray tracing for its web slinging, and it was always acknowledged as probably one of the smoothest Spider-Man games. Obviously, that's previous to the newest Spider-Man, the
Miles Morales.
Yeah, that one. Because that one's super clean. That looks amazing.
Yeah. Again, but that's also a PS4 exclusive, isn't it? PS5 exclusive.
PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ray tracing is like one of those things where it's like it's coming more prevalent essentially this generation into things that are real-time rendered, because I don't know, personally as well, as a VFX artist in training, we ray trace all the time. It's nothing considered special. It just is what it is. It's just you're literally tracing the rays, and obviously it's good that it's coming into real time more steadily either way.
Sure. I'm
interested to see what comes out, because I've seen a lot of reviews of both consoles, and a lot of people are saying the Xbox is around an 8, they say, and the PS5 is around a 9. They would put it, a lot of people, and that's mainly because the exclusives, they have Demon Souls on PS5, they have Spider-Man, and there's already 2 great games, and it's only the beginning, so Xbox really has to pull out the stops, I think. Like, I've never ever wanted to buy an Xbox. They have to impress me. They really do.
What I think Xbox has done good though is with the Xbox Games Pass. Like, I think we've discussed that before, and that's really good value for money.
No, I agree. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, they come out with deals all the time with that. Like, as in, I think the other month it was like $1 for the month for the first month.
Yeah, that's still going on. I'm pretty sure actually.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, like what you get from it, it's definitely good value for money, especially if you own a PC and an Xbox.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And just bringing it back to exclusives, what do you guys think of exclusives in general? Because honestly, it does annoy me sometimes, especially like with games like Demon Souls and Infamous.
Yes.
Like you were saying when you said Infamous before, I'm like, I think you meant Infamous Second Son, which was on
Second
PlayStation
Son.
4.
That's it. Yeah.
Infamous 1 and 2. I loved,
so
and
good.
I really want to replay them, but it's like I don't have the discs anywhere, and I don't know where they are.
They're at my house.
Yeah, and I really want to replay them, but it's like I also don't want to use my PS3 because it's downstairs and it's a pain to hook up to. Like, as in, when I say I don't want to play it, it's like it's something I want to play on stream again.
Yeah,
and it's just for a bit of fun, like maybe 1 or 2 streams, just play it. Like the other day I played Jack and Dexter, which is a classic PS2 game. which
Absolutely.
I loved. I love that game. But sorry, it just went on a tangent. Yeah, it's just it's like it's so much of a hassle because it's on the PlayStation, and to stream it, I'm gonna need like a capture card. I'm gonna need a few other things. I think I actually don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just such a hassle. It's really annoying not to have all of it kind of centralized on a singular platform.
No,
Yeah.
it's a classic business kind of stitch, you know. I have ownership of, you know, Sony has ownership of Spider-Man, so therefore it's only going to be on PS4.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't expect it any other way, but like, it's just disappointing, I think, because like I want to play the Spider-Man games. He's my favorite superhero other than Batman, and I would play it, but I'm not willing to spend $800 on a PS5 in the game. But
Yeah.
I would buy it if it was on PC. I would definitely.
Oh yeah, like it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, because I didn't have a PS4 at the time. I was like, that game looks amazing. I want to play it. And then I heard it's like, oh yeah, it's coming to PC eventually. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for it. Obviously, the PC version is a little bit buggy because it's a port. It wasn't designed for the PC, but it's like, that's big stuff. That's a PlayStation exclusive going to PC.
Yeah.
I know there's been a couple others. I think it was PlanetSide 2, which was on PC and PlayStation. I know there's a couple others like that, but it's few and far between for a PlayStation exclusive to come up on PC. And I definitely I feel like it does blow up in sales when they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely
I guess
agree.
it's sort of both a smart and dumb marketing technique. Like, it's got its pros and cons.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people get annoyed at it, and a lot of people like, yeah, that's the way I want it. You know, I want the competition there, so it's not like monetized.
Yeah.
So I want the competition there if it's so that you can, like, you know, I guess pick and choose between what consoles and stuff. It's like it's the same with different launches on PC. So like you've got the Epic Game Store as an example. They came out last year and they've acquired a few different exclusives, Borderlands 3 to name one, to try and compete with Steam. Obviously Steam being so massive and pretty much installed on any PC in the world, any gamer's PC in the world, sorry. It's very hard to compete with, and that's why they used exclusives as a way to compete, because like how are you going to bring millions and millions of accounts across to a new platform when they already, mind you, Steam users already get annoyed when they have to launch like another launcher for a game like Battle.net or Uplay for Rainbow Six or Origin. Like they already get annoyed at that, and how are you going to bring them across? And it's using exclusives. That's
interesting. I've had this chat a lot with people in our gaming sphere. I hear a lot of people have issues, and I think Lucky and I were talking about it, Connor. We had Lucky as a guest on a few weeks ago. And he was saying that he doesn't understand why people have an issue with Epic Games, and I said the same thing. I understand the issue of like, wanting to move over. That's annoying. Having multiple launches is annoying. I agree. You forget where your games are, and it does get a bit overwhelming. But I think the issue that people have with Epic Games are Fortnite's on it, therefore I don't like it, is kind of a weird thing. Like, I think the problems that Epic Games has are like legitimate criticisms. Like, there aren't many games on it. There really aren't. There's some good ones on there, but there's not many. I've had a look through myself. And I personally use Epic Games more than Steam, just because of the kind of games I play. But they have good potential, really good potential. I think they have a good mindset. They're giving out free games every week. I have my libraries filled with them, and I have like 80 plus games. And these aren't just random indie $5 games. These are like, some of them are AAA games, like the Arkham series, the Borderlands series was free at some point, Enter the Gungeon, which is a fantastic game, Celeste. There was really good exclusives, and Elite Dangerous I think is coming up next week. Hitman
that's
was
coming
free.
out I think next week.
There's fantastic deals, and there's sales, coupons that you get. So in terms of like value, there's actually some really high value stuff that you can get. So I think they're on the right track. They just need to fix the issues in terms of scale, and I think they need to find a way to, I don't know. I feel like it's more of a cultural change that has to happen for them to compete. But I don't know.
I think
what
also,
happens.
I think you've touched on this before, but they're I don't know if it's just me but they're downloading
It's
downloading apps and updates sucks compared to like Steam.
No, I'm with you. I don't
It's
know
really
why.
badly optimized.
This is something technical about it. I don't know enough about computers, but why can Steam just, download, per how many megabits per second or whatever, and then with the thing, I don't know if it's optimizing for when you launch the game because it has to like read it and write it to the disc, but it is awful. It doesn't matter. Beppis, my mate who lives in New Zealand, who always posts screenshots of his gigabit, internet,
gigabit internet,
literally, and it's actual gigabit. He can't even update a game like Fortnite that's got a 100 meg update simply because of how long it takes to write onto the disc. So that is actually a major issue that I forgot that they need to fix. Steam is just more optimized, I would say, at this point.
Definitely. I mean, obviously Steam's been around for a lot longer. They've had a lot more time to optimize their craft. But I feel like another thing with Epic, they had a very rocky start when they released the store. They didn't have a search bar. It took forever to load. There obviously weren't many games on it to start off with. And I feel like that was a very bad impression to make when you were first starting out. Like, I feel like if you're going to introduce a store to your launcher, because I think first it was the Epic Games launcher or Fortnite and a couple other games that use the Unreal Engine. I feel like if they had released a more fleshed out store, it would have been received a lot better, and they wouldn't have had such a rough start. And I'm not saying that's they got to acquire more games at the start for it to be better. No, it was more, the store was buggy and it didn't have a search bar, and that's two very, very big things for user design. Like, as in, pretty much anything has a search bar nowadays.
Yeah.
And especially a store. Any store has a search bar. Any store on the web page, any store on a web page, any store on a launcher has a search bar. It's a pretty massive oversight, and it's crazy that it came from such a big company. And obviously, that was a talking point for a while. Like, why does this not have all these features? Like, why does it not have this feature that Steam has? What? Yeah, and yeah.
Well, they're jumping into the deep end, trying to compete with a pre-existing empire. So I think they should have been aware of what they were going into. And I hope they learned from that oversight, because I think it was a really steep oversight.
Yeah, it felt rushed, and it felt rushed. And you talk to anyone on the internet, they always hate rushed things. They hate rushed movies, they hate rushed games, they hate rushed TV series, they hate rushed anything.
76, for example.
Yeah, like that game was.
You can
Fallout
fix
76.
No Man's
they've
Sky,
fixed that. They haven't fixed it, but
Not completely.
they've definitely improved it from when it was launched. And
the thing is with stuff like that, like No Man's Sky, Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can fix a game so much and you can praise the effort, but like, first impressions matter in this industry. They really do. If you get a shitty launch, like, it doesn't matter how much they improve their game. Like, No Man's Sky has been improved so much, apparently. Apparently it's like a different game, but it's a lot better. And they're talking about some kind of next generation graphical update, and I saw some stuff about it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why is this still relevant? They're still trying to fix this, which is good, but like, I don't see...
It's good that devs haven't abandoned it.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not like, it's going to randomly pop off again. It's like a 1 in a million chance it's going to happen, and I don't think it would. But it's like, first impressions do matter, is what I'm saying. Like,
Oh yeah, like rocky launches pretty much determine the life of a game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, No Man's Sky could have been around for years and years had it had the launch, but I feel like they halved their lifetime with the launch they had.
No, I agree entirely.
And like other games like that, Anthem. Anthem was known as the Destiny killer because Destiny's so big and it's such a big MMO or MMORPG. Sorry. And people were excited, like, as in half the people at the time I played a lot of Destiny, half the people I spoke to were, they said, I'm going to switch over to Anthem 100%, man. This game looks amazing. It has more of what I want out of that genre of game. So a lot of people were going to switch over, and launch comes, all I heard was disappointment.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Only really good things. Movement was amazing, and I could see that the movement was amazing. The graphics took a downgrade from, as most games do, from the E3 trailers and other, teaser trailers. Graphics took a major downgrade, but it just wasn't. It just didn't feel fleshed out. The game lacked armor variants. The game lacked a lot.
Content, yeah.
Let's just say
Yeah.
a lot of content it lacked. And I guess in that regard, like, you know, a lot of people that would play Destiny were kind of tired of getting a game at launch that lacked the content. Destiny has had that issue for a while. Even more so now that they've departed from. Oh, sorry, Activision has departed. Activision has stopped funding them. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like you can see it in the newer expansions for Destiny. It's it definitely lacks in the overall content, like is in from all aspects of the game, not just the storyline, not just the lore, but in terms of the loot, the mechanics of, say, a raid, the mechanics of a dungeon. It just it lacks a lot more than it used to. You know.
I agree entirely. I think it's
For sure.
I think as well, I think I sympathize a little bit with devs only because I'm becoming more into that sphere of like development, more in film, but games is very similar. I remember seeing Miles Morales, my favorite streamer XQC, playing Miles Morales Spider-Man PS4, and you know how he is. He drops some hot nuclear takes, and sometimes they're justified, sometimes they're not. But he was crawling around on the buildings, and if you haven't seen Miles Morales, it looks incredible. The New York City looks incredible. The detail's incredible, and it's just incredible. Just take a look if you haven't. But he was climbing on some building and he was looking inside and him and his chat were laughing. He's like, look at this JPEG that they've, stuck on the inside of this room. And it was basically just an image projection of a room, just, obviously to save polys, and you're not going to, people aren't going to be looking there. So they try to save resources and time and stuff. And they were just like shitting on the dev team and being like, oh, lazy devs. I'm like, do you realize like how much effort goes into this? And also, of all games, like this game that looks so stunning, you were angry at them because they obviously it wasn't actually a JPEG. It was probably an EXR or a PNG high bit file stuck on, projected on, and that would have still taken time to do.
Can you imagine having to fully render a room that no one's going to go in, and you can only see through a singular window?
Yeah, why would you?
That, bro.
Yeah, and then they're like lazy devs, lol, and like Jesus, man. I know it's a bunch of trolls, but it's like, even though it's a a AAA company, it still takes so much time and effort, and a lot of the time these artists are underpaid. They get a bunch of crunch time, and
the crunch.
And the reason that I know being an artist how it feels, putting in a ton of effort, and I can imagine some releases like Anthem just not going well because corporates and productions and shareholders being like, they need a return on their investment, so they push deadlines like this, and there's no time for extra. That's why I'm actually happy personally that Cyberpunk is being pushed, even though they broke their promise. I'm very looking forward to it, but these artists work hard, so it's not their fault.
Initially with Cyberpunk, sorry.
No, sorry, I was just saying it's not their fault that these products come out like that because they work hard. It's mainly the corporates controlling the money and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the same with Destiny. Like, as in Bungie were heavily controlled with what they put out by Activision, in terms of what they put into like the in-game store, what they put into how they monetize the game basically, and how the production went and like what the timeframes were. Obviously, when they departed from Activision, they had a lot more freedom with that, but that also meant they didn't have the funding required to create the content they want. So it's
Activision is
weighing up those two unfortunate takes. But another thing, just bring it back. I know this is completely out of the blue, but just with XQC, you mentioned it. Reminded me the other day, yesterday actually, he cheated, I guess, in a Twitch Rivals event. He stream sniped Dr. Lupo and I can't remember the other team. But stream sniped during his own live stream. I don't know if it was during his own live stream. And got caught. So he's been banned from all future Twitch Rivals events.
All of them.
All of them. I think so. At least that's what the great news source that is Twitter has told me yesterday. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I know XQC has some interesting takes and he has some solid rants that are funny. I want to know what was going through his head to think that
it's okay.
Stream sniping was still okay. Like, he says it was in a joking manner, but it's still malicious. Yes. Of course it's still malicious. It's stream sniping. But it doesn't matter if it's in a joking manner. You're in a competition. You're in Twitch Rivals. Like, it's it's not okay.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that happened. I'm a big XQC fan. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
so-
agree with everything he does, but I usually keep up to date with what he's doing, so I didn't realize.
I can read the tweet for you if you'd like.
Yeah, sure, you can read it.
Okay, so he tweeted this out yesterday. Stop defending my everywhere. I think he meant me everywhere for no reason. We got into the final game with Dr. Lupo and Shroud's team. We shouldn't have done it, and it was wrong. I'm sorry for my actions. I thought it would be funny. It did not change the outcome, but it was still malicious. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he was accused of it initially, and then he admitted to it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I can't understand the reasoning by he thought it would be funny. I don't know if he's had to deal with it. I'm pretty sure he has. I'm pretty sure I've seen some compilations where he's had to put on, like, you know, he's been told, put on a more of a delay so you don't get stream sniped and stuff. But it's like, if you've been, like, I've even had to deal with it playing CSGO. And, like, at that time, I was, you know, getting 5 viewers, if that, a stream. And I get, like, one guy that comes in, might recognize my name, or, I don't know, figures out I'm streaming somehow and starts stream sniping. It's like, if you've had to deal with that for so long, like, because he's a big streamer, you know, 50k viewers, easy.
Biggest streamer on Twitch.
How do you get it into your head that you find that all right?
Yeah, you'd think that he would relate it to himself and be a bit more,
aware. Definitely. And it's
more aware of the consequences and everything.
Not even just the consequences, just like
how it makes people feel.
I can't remember the word, but just say like the
essentially, you know, I guess you could
the
say
premise is the premise behind it, like, is in
exactly.
I think there's a different word for it, but it's so among streamers around the world, it's so intrinsically hated when you get stream
It's looked down on.
like,
It's
even I kind of dislike it when people Q snipe me in a game in CS:GO. Like, it's like I get, like, you might want to play with me or you might want to play against me, but it's like you better close the stream, home skillet. Like, I don't want you.
It's kind of like an unwritten rule that no, it's bad and all that.
If I'm completely honest, I know I don't do it as much now because I remember doing it once actually and getting called out on it and I stopped it. But I'm one of those people that it's not justifying anything at all. It's more just an explanation. But I used to stream snipe people a fair bit, and it wasn't because I had malicious intent. I was just bored most of the time. And I remember getting called out on it once, and they were like expressing how, you know, it wasn't fun for them. Yeah, and I just stopped it. And that was I personally, like, I can see how XQC, he shouldn't have done it because he's a streamer, he's been in the sphere before, but I don't know. I kind of just did it because I thought it was funny. And I know that's the same problem, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but I guess it's another thing with you, like, is in. I feel like he should have a better read of the situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, at that stage, you weren't in, like, the content creation field. Like, you weren't in that kind of state of mind. Whereas XQC has been in the game for so long.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not only that, he's competing in Twitch rivals. You know,
now the context is different. It's
he's
different.
like, you know, he's playing for the company he's working for, and he's doing something against their terms of service.
What game were they playing? Do you know what game it was?
Good question.
What was it? Let's have a look. Oh, it was probably, I think it was, Fall Guys.
Yeah, it was Fall Guys, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. That's interesting. We might have to wrap it up here. It's a bit of a cutoff, but we are going a bit, not over time, but we're getting close to the end. Do we have any final things that we want to mention or talk about? Connor. Or Riley.
I'm not sure.
If you have anything you want to bring up or mention or talk about.
I don't know.
Yeah, we had.
I mean, maybe
we had a few more things, but
maybe quick chat about more lifestyle wise rather than the topic of, like, I feel like we've been focused a lot on gaming today. Maybe let's talk about lifestyle wise. What are our not plans, so to speak, but how are we all looking for the future at the moment? Because I know
we basically had that wrote down as well.
Myself and Raph, just real quick, we live in the suburbs of Melbourne, so we've been in lockdown for months on months.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that coming out of it at the moment? And you too, Connor?
I'll go first. All right. I know it's been rough. Personally, I know everyone's been experiencing difficulties, but I know my mental health has taken a really big hit this lockdown. I've been feeling pretty bad, pretty awful. And I don't think it's just because of lockdown. I think it's because of a lot of things, but lockdown definitely was a massive factor for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'm looking forward to just being outside, just being more social. Lockdown's been actually, despite being difficult, I actually think it's been one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life, because it's made me think about what I enjoy, what I appreciate, and what I'm hoping to do with my life. And in terms of like, wanting to be better and wanting to, put more effort into things. And it's, I'm looking forward to not something in particular, like, going away on a holiday or this or that, but just to making the most of normal life, everyday normal life, being able to see people, talk to people, going out for a drink at the bar, which I did for the first time in like 6 months the other day, and it was great weather, and it was good, but yeah, just looking forward to living life, I'm trying to be a bit more positive and present, and doing the best I can. How about you?
I mean, I guess I had a similar thing. Like, as much as I hated lockdown, and as much as it's been a detriment to my mental health and a detriment to just basically my health in general, there's a few things I've definitely realized being in lockdown. A lot of it was like, I got to put more effort in with my friends. I got to put more effort in with my family. Another thing is financially. I was very financially unaware because of how much I was earning at the time. Before lockdown, I was earning a lot. I was just spending it, man. Like I didn't really care. I didn't have any, like I was saving, but I was spending probably more than I should have. And then like, with all these restrictions, I haven't been working. I've hardly been working, I'm earning very little in terms of like, it gets kind of hard some weeks to pay my bills, buy food and all that. So, it's made me more financially aware, which is a really good thing, because it's like me looking to the future. It's like, I don't want to be stuck like this again. I want to get into some investing and saving a lot more. And that's what I'll be trying to do, coming out of lockdown. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good though. That sounds good at least.
Yeah.
As hard as it is, it sounds like, I don't know. There's light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Like it's like obviously lockdown was all around pretty fucking shit. But there's those little things that you kind of gotta pick up on that makes life easier going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it be you become more not more social, but like you put more effort in with the relationships you have, so that when you get into a similar situation where you kind of need that extra support, you kind of have it there to ask for.
For sure.
Because like I went that long without talking to some of my friends because I don't know, man. I wasn't very good at communicating with them. So
no, I'm the same, dude.
I've kind of come out of this more in tune with my feelings, and that's such a cliche thing to say. I'm more in touch with my feelings now. No, I'm like, I feel like I'm more
aware.
Aware,
yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Connor? What's
well, I guess I've been in regional Victoria this whole time, so I didn't have it as hard as you guys, but I still definitely felt it. The mental toll and everything, I guess, because I was in the same boat. I haven't seen many of my friends at all for months and months, and I guess I was in the same boat with my communication skills with most of my friends, apart from the ones I play games with, that I didn't chat with them that often, apart from if I was going out with them or making plans. But yeah, now that it's over, I guess we're on the rise, which is good. But I will say, Metro drivers suck, and you can tell they're out here.
What? Oh my god.
Just gonna say that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Metro drivers haven't been driving for 6 months, man.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
What are you gonna say? Although, to be fair, the people around me are crazy. Like their driving is mental.
No, city
I've
driving
learned
is
to drive
so
in
Like
pub
they just
today.
don't look sometimes. They just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
look sometimes. It's like,
Pulling
bro,
out of car parks and they hit me in the side.
you alright,
Oh man,
man?
it's horrible.
Are you all right, man? Like, you're gonna check. You're gonna slow down on that roundabout. You're just gonna go straight through it.
They're all
It's even people on the freeway. They'll just randomly brake or something in the middle. And bloody on my road, it's an 80-kilometer zone. I was heading to work yesterday afternoon, and there was a car going 40 down it.
On the bends, baby.
Yeah, and on the bends. I didn't see it coming, nearly ran in the back of it.
Damn, dude.
It's like it gets to a point where it's almost unsafe to be going.
Oh yeah, it's completely unsafe because local cars would be going 80, and a car's going 40, and because you won't see them coming, you might just ram into the back of them just because they're going so slow.
They're blind corners.
Yeah,
they're blind corners. They're pretty not tight corners, but they're blind corners. So there's a lot of foliage, there's a lot of trees in the way, especially during the daylight where you can't see anyone's tail lights through the trees or anything. So you're kind of coming around a corner, and you have to kind of slow down really quickly, and that puts the car off balance, kind of unsafe.
Exactly.
In saying that, I do like to see, ages ago there was a lady on the freeway that was doing 40 or something. It's a 110-kilometer freeway. There's no traffic. There's no roadworks. There's no flashing lights. So she had no reason to be going 40 other than it was raining, which is maybe a 10 kilometer. You might be doing 10 kilometers slower, but going 40 on a 110-kilometer freeway, it's very unsafe. And she actually got pulled over and fined for it because it's technically, I can understand it's unsafe driving. Anyone can run in the back, and you see videos all over the internet of people that have stopped in the middle of the freeway because their car's broken down, and they get hit because they're just unaware that other people don't always see them or aren't always paying attention. That's
I don't get me wrong, I'm still all for one, if you're not familiar with the road, slow down. But going again that slow is ridiculous.
Pretty crazy.
I'm all for safe driving.
Oh, absolutely.
There's an extent to it, and with so many unsafe drivers on the road, it's you almost have to accommodate for them in some regards. You have to be more aware. Coming around corners, you have to be more aware. Coming up to intersections, someone might run a red light and run into the side of you because they're in a hurry and you've just pulled out because you just got a green. It's
exactly.
You got to be. I at least feel you have to be a lot more aware, especially in the city.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's right.
Cool.
That was a solid.
Raph wouldn't know much about driving though.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven 1.5 hour in my life on the road.
Bit on the. Really?
Yep, only driven half an hour. Don't think I'll ever drive. Trust
really?
me. Yeah, really. I get looked down upon it by my family at every family event.
Interesting.
No, I just not a fan. I guess I've always, I'm not afraid of driving. I think I'm just afraid of people on the road. I think. I think
you have every right to be, man.
I think
what I've experienced since I got my license is just
Yeah, I think.
Excuse me, man. What are you fucking doing, bro? I sit in the car and I'm driving, and there's so many instances where I'll just be sitting there and I'll just start shit talking some other driver because it's some dumb shit.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just talking to myself, man.
No, I drive with my sister, and she's always kind of doing what I do when I play games. She's raging at her teammates, basically. People on the road. I'm like,
I do the exact
same. I'm like, yo,
it's not even
chill out.
Road rage. It's not like road rage where I'm gonna get out of the car and I'm gonna square up kind of road rage. It's more road rage. It's yo, that guy's a fucking moron.
Literally,
Literally.
It's what the fuck are you doing, man?
No, I just don't trust people. I trust myself. I used to actually, mechanically, as a kid, I used to drive a paddock bomb on my farm all the time to distribute hay to sheep and stuff like that. So and I used to ride a motorbike. I'm confident in myself. It's just others around me. I don't trust other people really.
100% that. I don't know if you know this, Raph. I actually was in a car accident when I was 18.
I didn't know that.
No, I crashed my car, and it was actually a pretty serious car accident. I wouldn't say I suffer from PTSD or anything, but I do get anxiety when I have other people in the car and when I'm driving and other people are driving. Because I guess nowadays I'm a lot more aware of how the how the car feels on the road. So when other people are driving and they're kind of doing some sketchy shit, I start stiffening, tensing up, and that anxiety starts to come through. And it's a big thing. It's I almost don't trust other people driving at this stage. It's I want to drive everywhere myself because I don't trust it. And it's I don't want to get into an Uber because I'm I don't know this person. I don't know how they drive. I don't know if I'm gonna get
yeah, for sure.
if they're gonna crash the car. it was my fault that the car crashed. Like, as in, it was my fault that how serious it was. It was all on me. But it's still like I trust myself more than anyone to drive a car well.
Yeah.
It's
And that, it's like that's just another thing entirely. It's like I definitely see where you're coming from, where you don't trust other people. Because I was probably one of those other people at some early stage in my driving career.
I almost I'm sorry that you had a crash like that. I mean, I exclusively almost take public transport, or I walk, or I'll take my longboard. You know, I'll try and find ways around. I used to have the same kind of anxiety with buses. Like throughout high school, I had to tackle. It's not something deep, serious, rooted issue that I can't talk about on a podcast. But I used to have a phobia of going on the school bus. I used to never want to go on the school bus. And I had to go to a psychologist about it. Yeah, it's actually...
I didn't know that.
No, I can look back and laugh at it now.
I don't know that either, yeah.
I used to have a big fear of going in cars. I remember I used to be so anxious about going to school camp and stuff, only because I had to go on a bus for many hours. So I used to hate that. And I used to hate going to school every morning on the bus. And yeah, it was something I had to tackle. But yeah, it was just a phobia.
Was that was there like, I don't want to say like, was there a reason behind that? But it's like, was it like a motion sickness thing, or was it more like a fear thing?
I think it was a bit of both. I used to get pretty nauseous on like cars and buses, but I think it was mainly fear.
Okay, yeah.
I felt, I guess, claustrophobic. I'm trying to put my mind back, because like, it's one of those mental health issues where it's like, I look back and I think like, why did I ever feel that way?
I get it.
I legitimately felt it throughout many years of high school, to the point where I had to get a psychologist and I had to deal with the problem. It's interesting.
I'm glad you got that help you needed for that, because
it's interesting.
There's plenty of people out there that won't do that,
sure.
and go seek help.
No, don't be afraid, anyone listening
100%.
or here, like, to get help. If you think, I know I was afraid mainly to talk about it, because it's like, who's scared of going, in a car or a bus when literally everyone does it every day. But yeah, you can have phobias about things that aren't normally phobias, or anxieties or worries. Anything can manifest, and I know personally that happens, with certain things like that. It's But anyway, it's just an interesting thing about cars. That's why I don't drive.
Yeah, I mean, like, it manifests anywhere. So, like, I know people that have developed anxiety over their finances because of something they did when they were younger. Like, when they first got a job, they did some dumb things with their finances, and they kind of like set them back a long way. And they're kind of like, not
super vigilant,
not stingy, so to speak, but they're like paranoid about how they use their finances.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like that's a completely different topic, but it's like kind of like drawing the similarities between I guess just like a random kind of anxiety or fear or paranoia that just arises from some little thing or something you can consider to be little.
And it just it makes sense. It's relevant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Should we wrap it up, Connor? We can do the famous outro.
I think that's good to wrap it up. Yep. We're just sitting at just over an hour at the moment, so that's a good solid episode.
Sorry if I spoke for so long.
No, you didn't.
No, that is absolutely fine. That means we don't have to speak for as long. Again, we will thank you for joining us, Riley.
Thank you for having me.
Twitch will be available in the description.
As much as he hates plugs, it's going to be there anyway.
He hates plugs, it will be there.
I've featured on the podcast. I think I'm okay with this plug.
All right, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm okay with featured on the podcast. Yep. Again, if you are watching, again, a returning visitor or new, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll hopefully see you next week back here on the Slightly Improper Podcast.